Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. A woman done left and took all the reason I was working for. You better not try to stand in my way as I'm walking out the door. Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more.
All right, welcome back. And we have been busy today. Yeah, covered with the new Bungles, of course, of Ohio, the Cleveland Browns, that is. Talked about our top choices for offensive as well as defensive rookies of the year, and we also previewed our AFC wildcard weekend. So 12 teams into the postseason. That means 20 teams were or are either on the verge of creating some high competitive teams or just wasting away before our eyes. Which one was it? Well, it's going to bring us to Black Monday, of course, those 20 remaining teams. We'll take a look and see who is actually just wasting away and needs to get some things in order before they become competitive in this league. So, yeah, Black Monday on Monday, of course, at the NFL. So a few regimes coming to a close. The first out of the gate, no real surprises with the first two, of course. The Jets deciding to part ways with Rex Ryan, and they also get rid of their general manager, John Idzik. Ryan and Idzik have just not had a lot of great success over the last 3 years. I think that Rex Ryan actually ends up just 2 games above 500 or 2 games below 500 for his, what was it, 6 years there at in New York. So not a huge surprise, Rex Ryan. You know, we all saw the writing on the wall. He saw the writing on the wall, just trying to make the most of it. Yet we kept seeing it as a news story. Of course, I mean, what do you do with the talent that has been brought in there? So John Idzik was just as big of a problem, if not more of a problem, than Rex Ryan. You know, there was not really a lot of exceptional talent coming into New York, and that really shocks me too. You know, New York just seems to be a different spot when it comes to talent wanting to come in there sometimes from the New York Jets perspective. You know, you always just have that second team in the big city, whether that's L.A. with their Clippers and their Lakers. Those two teams kind of flipping sides right now. But you also have New York, of course, with the Yankees and the Mets, and with the Jets and the Giants. And, you know, Giants are struggling, but they still have some talent on that team and can do some things. And I think a lot of people are confident in that. But Rex Ryan and the Jets, man, they just ruined everything. It just got worse and worse and worse. You see guys leaving and older guys coming in, and the young people that they're bringing in off the draft. Geno Smith, did anybody really think he was? Yeah, he could put up some gaudy numbers at West Virginia with the no defense, and all he's got to do is throw it up. He doesn't care if he wins or loses. Yeah, he does care if he wins and loses, but no, he's just throwing up numbers for Heisman votes. Oh, it's an easy system when you're going against guys that are much slower than the NFL. So they're stuck with what they have. Rex Ryan's out. GM John Idzik as well. Then, of course, with Chicago, Mark Trestman, he's out after 2 years with Chicago. And they get rid of their GM as well, Phil Emery. Now, the two, Trestman and Emery, managed to put together a team that went 8-8 last season and just 5-11 this year, despite the thrills and emotions of Jay Cutler leading the way. And I'm sorry, but for anybody who thinks Jay Cutler can actually lead a team to anything decent, you are very mistaken. He has taken your money. He will invest it and hopefully spend it wisely in his life. But he has pulled the wool over your eyes. There's a reason why there aren't more quarterbacks out of Vanderbilt in the NFL. There's a reason why, as much talented as we've seen a lot of quarterbacks come through the years, Tim Tebow, very talented player. but his mechanics are off. Jay Cutler's mechanics are off. And even worse than his mechanics, throwing off the back foot all the time. You know what I'm talking about. Watch a game for 2 seconds with Chicago if you can bear to do that. Because I can't anymore. But I've watched enough to see that Jay Cutler loves throwing off that back foot. Seen it enough to know that Jay Cutler's going to sling it. He's got a great arm. If he could actually step forward and throw, who knows what he could do. But Trestman's out. It's not going to get any better in Chicago next year. It's a nightmare right there. It's almost like a Tampa Bay situation with their quarterbacks. And Josh Freeman might as well be leading the helm. And with the Falcons, the third let go, the Falcons decided to let go Mike Smith. A little bit of surprise maybe for some people when you look at the success of the Falcons. You know, that NFC South until this year has been really a very competitive division. And you look at what he's done there, 2 South titles. He finished at first or second all but the last 2 years that he was there. 1-4 in the postseason, though. That'll get you. Matty Ice started to melt in the postseason. This is what happened. And then you look at the digression over the last 2 seasons, and it was just, I think it's time for a change. And Mike Smith did a good job with the Falcons, and the GM and the owner, they both expressed that they were very happy with the work that he did there, but it was just time to go. But the big shocker, of course, the Sunday one that came in, we all knew it. We all talked about it for so long. Jim Harbaugh and the Niners winning as coach in the first 3 years of his career. Winning as coach in the first 4 years, despite this year. And 3 conference championship games, including a Super Bowl. I mean, if that San Fran media could shut up for 5 minutes down there during this entire year, would we be talking about Jim Harbaugh going to another team right now? I don't think so. It's really unfortunate. I wish Jim Harbaugh the most success. Glad to see they were able to kind of just say, hey, you know what? Let's just make it a clean break at the end and do the mutual let go. So they decided to mutually let go from the situation and get things on a more positive note going out. Do want to mention just real quickly here as we have to kind of wrap up this segment, but you know, some of the others that might be out this season, I think you're looking at, as far as head coaches, Jeff Fisher. Sorry, Jeff Fisher. I mean, you come in there, you get a mentality and a toughness on those teams, but Jeff Fisher and the Rams have just not found success. 7-8-1, 7-9, 6-10. Those are the records that they've had there. And when you say, oh, well, they've been in a tough division, well, the first year there, he was 3-7, 9 division games. In non-divisional games, he was 3-7. Following season, 6-4, so improved there. But he only went 1-5 in his division. And then this year he goes 4-6 and 2-4 in the division. So we're just not seeing the progress out of Jeff Fisher. He's had some talent come through there, hasn't been able to put together. Obviously, Bradford's situation causes all sorts of trouble with what they have to handle. But I mean, you got to get past that. And to be honest with you, the front office, the Rams, not only do they need to get rid of Fisher, but they need to figure out something to do with Bradford, because that's just wasted money right there. It is. It's wasted money. I hate to see it. Sean Hill, he was a great backup back in the day, and I think he could have done some good things for the Rams in helping them out this year. But really, he's kind of past his prime as well. So they're in a tough situation. May have to do it through the draft this year, or try to find somebody to trade up to. But I don't see a lot of talent on that team that they could trade away and get some. And another one for head coaches, Marvin Lewis, man. I mentioned it real quickly. If they don't win Sunday, his job should be as good as gone. So they just haven't been able to take it up to the next level with Marvin Lewis there. And finally, not a head coach, but a D coordinator, Rob Ryan. Yeah, both of the Ryans, Ryan and Ryan, need to be out on the street, both of them. Rex, I think, will do okay maybe going on to another staff, but Rob Ryan, your defenses, they just don't work. They've actually, looked statistically, they've never done better than 15th. He's had some high points here and there as far as points against, but overall, his defenses are horrible. And you can't work with a style of defense in a quick strike offense. If your offense is quick strike and then your defense is looking on big play, opportunistic style, it doesn't mesh well. because somebody has to have the ball during the game for the whole 60 minutes. For the 60 minutes, it's got to get filled up and eaten up with somebody controlling the ball. And if your defense is, if your offense is quick strike, well, your defense better be able to kind of bend but don't break. And they've been bending a lot, and they've been breaking down the stretch. So Rob Ryan, Jeff Fisher, Marvin Lewis, I think those guys are just about as good as gone. Of course, Marvin Lewis, depending on whether he wins this weekend, he may get another year here if he's able to pick it up in the end of with the playoffs coming up here. So we'll see if he can pull out the win and maybe save his job. So sorry about that short segment. We do have to roll out, but still more to come. We're going to cover the NFC wildcard weekend at the top of the hour and the league MVP talk, plus Monday. So we have news from all around the sports and quick hits. So Monday, so stick around. We have more to come here on the Flashback with Radio Honda.